Yo, what's up YouTube? It's your boy Pandasaurus bringing you another game from the jungle, and this time bringing you something special. We're playing our girl Seraphine. Now this is a bit of an odd game, right? I wasn't going to record this game, but this game went so well that I couldn't help but show it to you guys. You're going to see there's a bit of a funky start. It doesn't go quite too well for us, but then we pick it up, we turn it around, and we make this game our own. I will caveat this with, this is the first time I've played Seraphine. This is the first time that I've clicked on this champion, taken it to the Rift, and checked out her abilities. So, in case it's your first time too, we'll give you a quick overview. So, Seraphine's passive is stage presence. So every third basic ability will echo, casting a second time, and also she empowers her autos when she casts abilities near allies. Her Q is an AoE damage, which does a little bit of execute bonus damage. Her W is a shield, and if your ally is shielded, it casts a heal. As you can see, if it echoes on itself, that's an instant heal on yourself because you're shielding yourself twice, and the second one you're already shielded. Her E is a skill shot slow. If the enemy's already slow, they're rooted. If they're already rooted, they're immobilized. Corrected. If they're already immobilized, they're stunned. So you can see how that doubles on itself as well, right? If you red buff auto, they're slowed. You hit them with the E, they're rooted. You hit them with the E, they're stunned. So if you red buff auto double E someone, instant stun. Now, this is what I want you to focus on. Look right here. Watch this. We're jungling, we're jungling, we're jungling. And then we disconnect. It's a travesty. The game's downhill. There's no way we can recover from this. And that's what I thought, right? So this is where I got to this point and I was like, yep, there's no way this is a YouTuber anymore. This game's gone to poo. But we're like, all right, no, we're back. We can bring this back, all right? Game reconnects, and I'm still confident that we can in some way scrape together a victory. Let's bring us up here. Let's chuck ourselves next to the enemy jungler. So it is worth noting right now in this game, we are going up against a Shaco, a Zed, and a Graves. This is a very difficult game to be playing a squishy mage on. Now I'm leashless and trying to clear the jungle on my own. So the best thing I think to do is we've got our Q. We don't even have an empowered Q anymore, but I figure we go to the Raptors, try and get some AoE damage on them. We do have the Hunter's Talisman, grounding us up a little bit of that AoE dot and heal. And there we go. We get the double Q off. We get level 2. We had to pop a potion and use our smite. But we did manage to scrape our way through the first camp, getting ourselves level 2. Now we're trying to kite this red buff as much as possible, empowering our abilities, bouncing off one another, looking for that empowered E or Q. Empowered Q granting us more damage, however, empowered E giving us a little bit more kite opportunity, getting us some distance away from the camps. Now you guys are probably thinking the same thing I'm thinking at this point, right? We're 1 and 3. Seraphine jungle. Shaco's already got a kill. Second smite comes up. We pick it up. There's no way we could possibly win this, right? Like, it looks like one of those games where your teammates are just like, nah, FF, it's doomed. I am glad to say this is one of the very first games where my teammates did not give up in the first 10 seconds, and boy, did it pay off. So as you can see, we're slowly trying to kite these camps. This red buff is an absolute godsend. Combine that with our E, which means the camp gets rooted, because as you've seen in the tooltip, if the camp is already slowed when we cast the E, that's when it gets rooted. If it's already rooted, then it gets stunned. So red buff slow does work very nicely with our E. We've hit level 3 here. We've got our W. We're going to back here and grab a Hunter's Machete just because I feel like I'm going to need an extra little bit of assistance in that topside clear, noting we are playing against a Shaco. You guys can see on the minimap here that Shaco is only on his bot side, but I figured if he had have noticed that these guys came to lane or that I haven't shown my face yet, I would have assumed the Shaco was going to counter jungle. Therefore, I wanted to back before going to my top side just to make sure I had a little bit more clearing power, a little bit more health and mana, maybe a little bit more of an opportunity to get away should it not go my way. So you can see, unfortunately, every lane is losing at this point. We've had a death mid, we've had the recent death top, and I believe we had a double kill bot. And nothing's quite going the way we wanted to, but as I said earlier, the team didn't give up, the team held it together, and then they're still pretty confident they can pull this out. So again, much like all the other camps, we're just trying to slowly kite the camp out, getting that red buff dot plus our Hunter's Talisman dot on every camp that we can, and then using our E to assist us in kiting. Didn't necessarily kite blue buff here the best I possibly could have. Pretty sure you can do blue buff almost without getting hit if you combo your abilities properly, but it is quite a slow process. Unfortunately, we do lose another kill in the mid lane as we're taking our blue buff. There's not really any way we could have helped that. Now, I was really hoping Shaco would have gone to the bot side, but unfortunately he'd already picked up bot side scuttle, so I was left over here trying to grab the top side. Walked up and attempted to smite it, but couldn't get in range before he got the backstab damage off and stole that away. So We had to leave that to Shaco. He's now got a 12 CS lead with 150 gold bounty, and we are not looking great. My main mindset here is we just want to play this slow. We want to farm up. We want to look for free and easy engages, free and easy opportunities for kills. Don't want to do anything that's too risky because we could just end up pushing ourselves back further and further. So as I'm coming down here towards the Raptors, I've identified that Graves has maybe not got a ward. However, he did actually have vision now. It's nice to know. But I thought maybe we'd be able to sneak in from the top side. It looks like he hasn't noticed me because I've managed to get into this position unnoticed. And we're going to use the double E for the root slow, for the slow and root. Unfortunately, he got 6 off the minions, so he did lay down a fair bit of damage, and he turns around and he actually gets the Q auto ignite off. Katarina walks back into the Q, so sadly takes the damage. Didn't quite go the way we wanted to. I stick around, or wanted that cannon, but I noticed Shaco's coming, so I'm going to flash out of there. It's 100% worth it. I didn't know if Shaco had Q up, so I popped the pink, just in case. I'm hanging around here just to see if he will go for my Raptors, because if he doesn't, then I'd be happy to clear them. But he does push up on me. Now, I was a little bit unsure what was happening here. I could see the Raptors kind of aggroed back, but then they reset. Shaco Q's in, he shows face, comes up on the turret. And this bit got me by surprise. So, as I walked around here, I saw this chicken aggro back in. And we had a little bit of vision. But Shaco clears out our chickens. We're forced to back. And they carry on. So, at the moment, we're looking at a 2-0 lead in the top lane. A 2-1 lead in the mid lane, a 2-0 lead in the jungle, and bot lane is just all sorts of not great. So we're back there, we grab our Stalker's Blade, we grab ourselves an Amped Home, because I do have magical boots, and we're looking for an opportunity to pick up some kills and get back into the game. Something I didn't touch on earlier, for this game we have taken the Glacial Augment Rune, getting the slow off on the E, getting the slow off on the Q, just enabling some more compounded effects with the E interaction, noting that it roots and stuns based on the effect of the enemy. Now, I'm pretty conscious here that Nunu's going to come back in on the Aphelios here. So we get the double E off, we snare, we land the Q. Fortunately, it's not quite enough. Notice he does break vision. I get the auto off. I wasn't quite sure if there's any way I'd be able to escape here, but thankfully Zed was kind enough just to let me go on my way. I'll clear out a couple of those minions, pick up the shutdown kill on Nunu, and back on my way into the jungle. So now we're back in the game a little bit. We're still 22 CS down, but we do have 1 kill and 1 assist to our name. We'll pick up these Krugs, utilizing that again, that double E to root and kite the camp. It's just such a good interaction. I don't think there's many things that could beat it at the moment. This chick was obviously made for the jungle. There's no way you can dispute it. The added benefit as well is we don't necessarily level our W, which is our shield in the jungle. But we do always have it to grant ourselves a shield plus a heal if necessary. Now here, I was going to grab my red buff, but I've noticed that old mate Graves, he just got the kill. I was going to come across and help, but she died a little bit faster than expected. So I've backed down here to grab my red buff. And hopefully push myself a little bit towards level 6, as you can see down here in the tooltip. We lose sight, which is a little bit annoying as we're trying to kite the camp. Very conscious that the enemy is in a much better position to go for dragon at this stage than I am. Alright, that gets us level 5, and now taking these chickens will push us to level 6, and then puts us in a great position to back, get some more AP, get some items to our name. There's absolutely no way we can contest the dragon at this point. They've got a Nunu, they've got a Shaco, they're both fed, and they've also got a fed Graves in the mid lane, so realistically I've got to give the first one. And just hope that we can pick up a couple of subsequent dragons later. Now, we did just lose dragons, so I thought, you know what, these guys have overstayed. It is doomed. However, Aphelios just does #Aphelios things. Absolutely nukes the Shaco, turns around, goes, Zed, look, buddy, I honestly don't care about your damage. I just press all my buttons and everybody dies. Unfortunately, he does back off here, which means there's no way for him to pick up the kill on Morgana. I think, personally, it would have been better for him to take the root and then be able to auto her as she walks away, but he does burn her flash and her ult, so it's a little bit of a win considering he got the double kill on the fed Shaco and the Zed themselves. Looking back to myself in the jungle, we did go bot just in case we'd be able to pick up something on the Morgana, but it wasn't there, so we're getting pinged away, but we're looking for an opportunity to pick something up here. I've got my ult up, and I do have my double ability up. You see Shaco comes in, and we get the double ult into the double E, which is the slow and the root, enabling us to land a free Q and setting up the double kill 2 for none trade in the mid lane. A weird interaction that it did take me a little while to get used to, I'll be honest, is there is a cast time on your ult. So it says she takes the stage, projecting a captivating force that charms your opponents. Fun fact is, it does actually take a little bit for that ability to cast out. Something I didn't necessarily get to exploit in this game, and I'd love to play a little bit more of Seraphine and get an understanding of how this ability best works, is the way you can extend the range of her ult through your allies. So the way her ult works is it has a set range, and for every champion it lands on, be that ally or enemy, the range is extended. Alright, we've identified that Nunu has circled back around here. We've got the double E stacked up, so we land the slow, we land the root, we set up a free Scion ult, Scion comes in, autos Qs, and that could not have been better set up from the jungle. Unfortunately, we lose the CS and no one grants it there. But more than happy to get an assist and give Scion a little bit of wiggle room to get back into the game. So at this stage, we have gone from no leash, 3 levels down, 20 CS down, to we're now sitting on a bounty at 2, 0, and 3. No one could possibly tell me this champion is not made for the jungle. And, spoken too early, Graves again pulling out the solo kill in the mid lane. I'm just coming in here, happy. I just want to clear out a couple of the ways, get a little bit of CS. Don't necessarily want to fight anyone. Although, would kind of happily take on the fight with Graves, I think, if we got an opportunity to keep him at an extended range. Now, we're using the double E to clear the wave out. There's not really too much room to pick a fight there, so we're just going to back off into our jungle and continue using our amazing AoE clear just to churn through those camps. I would love to see how good her clear is if you get a proper leash / you don't DC at the start of the game. I think there could be a lot of power here in Seraphine's clear if she's actually kind of on a decent curve with her items. I think most certainly she is weakest in those probably the single target camps, I would say. So her red buff and her Gromp, those camps that you can't necessarily kite very well. And noting that Gromp is ranged and red buff just does not care at all. It seems to walk at an ungodly speed. I don't know how or why that happened, but that's a reality. So at this point, we're pretty comfortable that between myself and Aphelios, we can probably pull this game together, noticing that he's now 7-3 with a 550 gold bounty, and I'm 2-0 with a 150 gold bounty. He just soloed the Graves and the Zed. So there's not really too much that can threaten him at this point. So I'm looking to get up here. I want to pop my double W on him to grant the heal, and then again, just quickly churning and rotating through my abilities to get my passive back online. What do we best refer that to as an echo? I think it does actually within the tooltip refer to it as an echo of the ability. Cast full echo, automatically casting a second time, yeah. It's quite a nice interaction. So here I was going to back, but then I noticed like there may be potential to pull something here. I do want to help these guys out. We shoot the ult. We use our ally here to extend the range of the ult all the way up to the Graves, which enables us to land the double E, setting it up for Aphelios to get the free kill, and then Xerath lines up the ult and cleans them up on the back line. Now here, I'm not quite sure what Morgana's doing. She seems to think she can come in here. Unfortunately, we didn't have W, so we could not save the Aphelios, which sucks because he did have quite a large bounty on his back, but it enables me to land the E with the double Q, and then we W after. Gives us that execute damage on our Q, being the high note, and we pick up the kill, putting us in a 305 position, now only 11 CS down. So we're slowly closing the CS gap, and we're also closing the gold gap through both kills and assists. Now, I was going to push down to the bot side and look to pick up drag, but here I noticed they were shoving this in pretty aggressively, so I didn't necessarily want to give up tier 2 just for a free dragon. I figured they might be able to get a bit too much pressure off that. I throw the double E out and I manage to get the snare, but he does ult and dodge my Q damage. Now, I'm pretty confident this is the clone. It disappears and we're all set. Nunu's hiding in the bush, popping his ult, but it's not too much of a risk at this stage. However, we'll come back in here with double E. Unfortunately, missing that double E, but we'll throw down a couple of different abilities, using the auto to finish off the Nunu. Picking up another kill, putting us at 405 with a 300 gold bounty. Now at this stage, I had no idea where Shaco was going. It's nice to know that he did actually rotate out into the top of the river. We were checking every manner of brush possible to figure out where this guy had gone. Even throwing the E into the bush. Unfortunately, I didn't notice that he had gone back on the Xerath. And Xerath just gets absolutely annihilated. I come back in, hoping that maybe I could pick him up. He's low on mana and shouldn't have enough for a Q. However, he must have seen me coming through because he runs pretty quickly. and he's just outside the range of our E. He jumps away and goes for the suicide play. Nothing much we can do about that one, so just a matter of fact as it is. Leaves me sitting in the top lane on my own, looking to clear out a couple of these minions and catch up a bit more on CS. In the bot lane, again, everything kind of falls apart. Katarina having a rather rough time at 2 and 6, but she's pretty light, so we can put her on our shoulders and take her to the finish line. At this stage, I'm not wanting to get too fixated on kills, right? I don't want to just be playing for the gold off kills. I don't want to just be playing for the gold off assists. I want to try and close that CS gap that we've got on the Shaco. Shaco is now dead, which gives us an opportunity to clear through our entire jungle unimpeded and try and catch up for that income. Noting that Shaco's dead, I did consider going bot side for Dragon here, but it is only a Cloud Drake, and they have 4 in location for Dragon. Then you'll notice that Sion TPs, and I'm like, alright, okay. I didn't want to go for it. Sion TPs in, applies a little bit of pressure. I'm like, okay, maybe we do need to go down and help these guys. So, start making my way, seeing where we can try and apply some pressure. And I get a little bit of support down. Nunu comes in, starts the Drake. I don't think that's necessarily the best idea on his behalf because he took more damage from it than he healed, but looking for an opportunity. Now, I land the double E into the Q and then absolutely whiff the ult. However, we get the assist on Nunu and we just absolutely lose Xerath in the background. He just gets nuked. I come in here, try and get some AoE damage off on the 2, but we just get blown up from both sides. Thankfully, Shaco runs off down to the bottom. He wastes his Q here, trying to come in and kill. Sorry, does not waste. He actually comes in and kills the Sion. Sion closes the gap, thinks he can get the kill. Shaco has no Q, and thankfully Aphelios comes in with a single auto for the kill. On the other side, our 2 and 6 Katarina, now 4 and 6 as she picked up both scraps in the river fight. Nice little bit of income to her. And it's a testament to our gold lead this game, right? We're pretty confident we're in a lead because our 4-6 Katarina with only 90 CS now has a bounty on her head. And I don't think that's really possible unless we as a team are greatly ahead in gold. Now, noting this was the first time I ever played this champion, I wasn't quite sure how to build her. So, I think if I were to build her again, I might consider a Zhonya's or a Lichbane second, considering the frequency that we auto-attack. However, I did go for the Spellbinders, as we're churning through our abilities a lot, we're getting free casts of our abilities, and I wasn't sure if the interaction would grant you a Spellbind stack, and to be honest, right now, I'm still not sure if it does. However, we went for that move speed, that spam. There you go, just confirmed. Double casting your ability through your passive does grant 2 Spellbinder stacks. That's kind of nice to know. We come in, we pop the shield, we pop a couple of abilities on the Z and the Nunu. We keep Aphelios alive and he cleans up the kill. I probably should have gone to Dragon, but I get the long range ult here with the E. Getting a stun because she's charmed. She's Zhonya's, but realistically, nothing to be worried about. There's no way she's going to pick up that kill. And our passive empowered autos assist us in getting that kill. Another great effect is that if you land your ult, so that's a charm, and the enemy will start running towards you, right? Much like Ahri's charm. However, that then has a synergy with our E, because if the enemy is immobilized in any way, when you land your E, they're stunned. So if you can time your charm, so just as they're about to not be charmed anymore, so the charm effect is still in play, but just towards the end of it, you can layer your E on top of that and get a double stun off if you have the double E available, or just a single stun, right? So there's a lot of synergy between her abilities. This is one of those champions, I believe, where it's quite easy to play her very simply, but to really make those expert micro plays, you just need like a lot of practice on this champion to really understand all of the interactions and the best way to combo abilities with one another. I reckon there's definitely some different items you could buy as well that would synergize with your abilities to grant you some even more effects. For example, not saying it's a good idea, but you could build things like a Riley's so that everything you do is slowing, and then you're always guaranteed to root and or stun with your E. So in that sense, there's definitely a lot of synergy in play. Much like how we're running Glacial Augment as our rune, all our auto attacks do slow, so if we auto then E, if we auto then double E, we actually get a stun. So it's all about playing around with those items and those runes to figure out what's going to be best moving forward, as I think she is predominantly played in the support role right now, but I would love to see her taken into other roles. At this stage, did not see Shaco coming in behind me. He comes in, he goes for a little bit of a burst. It's not even half our HP, and we return fire with a little bit of burst on our own. We get him down to, as you can see, almost no HP. That's our burst compared to his. Shaco compared to Seraphine. I mean, we did have a little bit of help with Zereth, but you know, nah, it's alright. Thankfully, Katarina completely switched on, jumps into the jungle, picks up the scraps again. And I thought maybe, I did not see Morgana back, I thought maybe Morgana would rotate top here. So we position ourselves in the jungle, we use the W to grant a heal, both ourselves and Katarina, and we posture ourselves ready to make a play. You see Morgana just above us, trying to fuck around with that Scion there. So we shoot the E long range. Unfortunately, we missed that. But we just pop the ult, charm her, a bit of damage, and let Katarina pick up the kill again. I'm pretty happy to pick a fight with Graves here. I was not expecting the burst that he could lay down. Gets that electric proc, he flash Q ults, and sadly, my teammates are just sitting there ready to cop the ult. Unfortunately, Graves, I think the only thing he was aiming for was for me. But he does just clean up the remainder of my team, and I get to walk out of there guilt-free. So, I mean, only an assist for me, but we'll take it. As you can see, this game has really not gone the way I would have thought it was going to go in the first 2 to 3 minutes. We were up to, I believe, at one stage 30 CS behind. We were up to 2 to 3 levels behind. We now have a level lead on Shaco. We now have 10 CS lead, and we are 5, 1, and 10 to his 7 and 7. Maybe a little bit of help coming here from the Aphelios, but, I mean, we've got to claim this one, right? It's Seraphine jungle, for God's sake. Now, we do fail to kite the camps here, drag the wolves out a little bit too far, unfortunately. Then the wolves, for some reason, came back, so confused the absolute wazoo out of me. We could almost just cut that play completely from the game. But again, much like I was saying before, I don't want to get too fixated on just playing for kills, so trying to pick up a little bit of CS where I can. But we noticed that Nunu is just laying it down on Katarina. I'm going to get in here, pop my Spellbinders, get a little bit of move speed, double Q. This guy just takes no damage, right? Like, he is healing like a boss. In hindsight, I probably would have picked up Morella Nomicon, but I didn't think to do it at the time. Alright, we're going to throw the ult out there, bring Nunu in, double Q. Again, sadly, just takes no damage. Now, I'm hoping Katarina can burst here. I Zhonya's, and I realise that there's no way to get that kill, so I flash out, but it's just not enough. We do pick up the kill with the splash damage of our Q, but we do go down to Morgana, who got the auto and the ignite off on us just before we died. So, noting that we built our Stalker's Blade first, we built our Spellbinder second, we then rotated into a Zhonya's Hourglass, noting the number of AD threats in the enemy team. So I wasn't too fussed about Nunu, but I was fussed about Shaco, Graves, and Zed all combined with the lethality and the just aggressive AD assassination damage that they could lay down. So we went with the Zhonya's. In hindsight, maybe I would have gone Zhonya's second into Lichbane, but I do like the Spellbinder. It was quite handy. We compound that on top of our W. We get a massive speed boost, and we're just laughing. Noting the amount that we're auto-attacking, though, and how I was saying that I would have gone for Lichbane, we do start building towards our Lichbane here. Picking up the Amp Tome, because I'm not a personal fan of going back just for a Mana Crystal, but I do like to go back just for an Amp Tome. Now, I'm posturing myself in this bush, and I did see both Zed and Morgana coming down, and I thought I could land an ult here. Was not prepared for the cast time. I completely forgot about the cast time on the ult, and unfortunately completely whiffed it. Thankfully, they didn't counter engage or anything, and I was like, almost didn't get punished for losing it. So here, we're looking to pick up the dragon. Thankfully, Zereth's like starting to lay down some significant damage, and I'll land the double E for the kill, getting the Runic Echo's proc. Nunu comes in, but like whilst Nunu's tanky, I don't think he's 1v5 tanky. Thankfully, Graves chooses to ignore me here, and I can just rotate into the jungle pit, get away from his auto attack range, and then swing back around. Didn't really want to risk losing this, just because I hate playing against people that are sped up when I'm a skill shot champion. But he has actually seen the Katarina recall in the bush. There was a ward there, so he was aware, and Graves jumps onto the dragon. Didn't really want to let Graves, noting that he's a mid lane Graves, get dragon for free. So we start making our way back down, and we get the TP come in from Scion. Graves does a runner, and we pick up the dragon for free. Bit of a kicker there. Unfortunately, we did not have a ward in the bush. Graves recalling in a very risky position. I actually thought Graves had dipped out over the wall, and so I was pretty cautious in going for this red buff, right? Wasn't quite sure whether or not he would be sitting at the red, so just wanted to play it super careful and make sure I didn't get myself killed there. For some reason, Katarina takes our red buff. Not quite sure what she was thinking there, but, you know, we can make do without. So I was looking to try and flank the Shaco there. We did get caught by the fear and he drops a ward, so we'll just run away from that. I don't think there was much we could achieve with that one. Shaco backs off and we just pick up the CS. We do have Sion just absolutely sending into their base repetitively, applying a lot of pressure. Even though he's 6 and 14, he's applying a lot of pressure on the map. So we're going to back here and pick up a couple more items towards our Lich Bane. Get the Sheen, we get the Ether Wisp, so we're just really building a lot of move speed at this point. With our W, with our Spellbinders, with our Ether Wisp, we're just stacking move speed like no one's business. Also to note, we do have the slightly magical boots as well. At this point, this guy is just insane. He's 19 and 9. Aphelios is just like 1v2ing to 1v3ing wherever he feels like. It's almost like he has no regard for personal life and or safety. So grants us an opportunity to just kind of get inside their jungle and start picking up camps. No point in giving Shaco absolutely any room to get back in the game. Now, as I was loading into this game, it's always interesting the reactions of your team in champ select. Especially when you lock in something like Seraphine jungle, you almost expect in League of Legends your team to like rage or tilt or just go crazy, right? But surprisingly positive reaction from the team in this game. We let them know we're going to play an off-meta jungler. We hovered Seraphine, we locked it in. No one said anything. I even turned team chat back on this game just to see or be able to play around who was asking for help or who identified they might need assistance, but no one said anything. Right, we actually saw Shaco come back in on us. We hit the double E for the slow and the root, and then we pop the Q, pop the double E again, and then just use our W to speed boost away. We're laughing. There's absolutely no way we die to that Shaco. He might have 10 kills, but he does not do enough damage to blow us up, especially with our allies there. All we have to do is CC him, keep him in place, and let the team come through and clean him up. At this point in the game, there's literally only one thing I'm really scared of, and that's the Graves damage, especially compounded upon the Shaco or the Zed. As you can see here, we hit the double ult under the turret, lands into a double E for a Q combo. We pick up one kill, Zero picks up the other. Again, absolutely beautiful combo. We land another double E onto Nunu. Unfortunately, I don't quite have enough damage to burst him myself, but Katarina and Aphelios come in and they finish off the job. And that brings us to the end of the game. As you can see, Seraphine, 100% best champion in the jungle. No question about it. 8-2-14, 160 CS with a big old carry. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that game. It was a little bit funky at the start and I definitely didn't think we were going to win it. And I hope you guys were surprised by the outcome as well. If you'd like to see more fun jungle gameplay, please hit us up on Twitch. We are live most weeknights from 6:30-ish PM Australian Eastern Daylight Time. And we'll also be trying to upload at least one video per week onto this YouTube channel, playing some funky junglers, highlighting champions that aren't often seen in the jungle and how powerful they can be in the jungle. So that's it from me. Hopefully I'll see you guys both on Twitch and on the Rift.